Family, I need you to hear me with your spirit wide open, because what I'm about to share is not a suggestion. It's not just another sermon. It's not even my opinion. This is an urgent word straight from the throne of God. And I believe with everything in me that you are not here by accident. You didn't just scroll past this. You didn't just stumble in. God himself set you here in this moment because heaven has a message with your name written all over it. There is a date on heaven's calendar, August 4th, 2025, and God says before that day comes, something must be done in your life. Something must be changed. Something must be aligned. This isn't about fear. This is about preparation. This is about making sure that when the winds of life blow and the shaking begins, you're not scrambling to get ready. You're already standing, already rooted, already covered under his hand. Now let me be real with you. You can choose to tune this out. You can treat this like noise in a busy world. But I'm telling you, if you do, you risk missing a divine moment that may never come again. Because the God who knows the end from the beginning, the God who sees what's ahead before you even take your next step is saying, please listen. And when God says please, you better believe it's serious. So I'm asking you right now, push aside the distractions. Put your phone down if you have to focus at desert. Shut out the noise around you. Lean in. Because over the next few minutes, you're going to hear 4 things that could change the entire trajectory of your life. Not because I said them, but because the God of the universe is speaking them. And when God speaks, your only job is to listen and obey. Let's go there together. Family, when God moves with urgency, he's not playing games. He's not tossing out random words to keep us inspired for a few minutes. When he gives a time frame, when he points his finger on the calendar and says, oh, before this day comes, I need my people to respond. You better believe that the atmosphere in the spirit realm is shifting. There's movement in heaven that demands movement on earth. This is one of those moments. Some of you don't realize it yet, but you are living in a divine countdown. God is watching the clock. And he's not watching because he's nervous or unsure. He's watching because there is a set time for what he's about to release. And before that moment arrives, he is looking for his children to be ready. Think about how we prepare for a storm when we know it's coming. If the weather forecast says a hurricane is approaching, we don't wait until the wind is already knocking the doors off the hinges to go to the store. No, we move now. We gather supplies now. We board up windows now. We make sure our house is secure now. Why? Because when the storm comes, it's too late to start preparing. God is giving the forecast right now. The warning is clear. And here's the good news. This is not just about danger. This is about positioning. This is about getting in place so you can be where God needs you to be when his blessing shows up. Some people are going to miss what he's about to do simply because they were too distracted, too casual, or too slow to respond. I need you to understand. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. When God says a now, he's not looking for a maybe later. The Bible is full of examples where God's people had a window of time to respond, and those who moved saw the miracle while those who hesitated missed it. Noah didn't wait until it started raining to build the ark. The Israelites didn't wait until Pharaoh's army was upon them to start walking toward the Red Sea. They moved when God spoke, and that's why they were in the right place at the right time. Some of you right now are wrestling with distractions. You've been caught up in battles that don't matter, relationships that drain you, habits that hold you, and noise that clouds your hearing. God is saying, I'm calling you out of the fog. I'm calling you to attention. This is not business as usual. The enemy would love nothing more than to lull you into spiritual sleep until the moment passes you by. But God is shaking you awake, saying, child, it's time to get up. It's time to move. And let me tell you something. When God speaks with urgency, it's not to create panic. It's to create purpose. He's not trying to make you afraid. He's trying to make you aware. Because awareness leads to preparation, and preparation positions you for the promise. Some of you have been praying for breakthrough, for answers, for change. And God is saying, yes, it's coming, but you must be ready to receive it. We serve a God who is both patient and precise. He's been patient with you, giving you time to grow, to learn, to heal. But now he's being precise, marking a season where your readiness will determine what happens next. Before August 4 arrives, you need to be in alignment with his voice, his word, and his will. That's why you're hearing this message right now, because he loves you enough to give you a heads up. I want you to picture this in your mind. A train pulling into the station. The conductor calls out, all aboard. That train is not going to wait forever. If you're not ready when it arrives, it will pull away without you. And no matter how much you run, you can't catch it after it's gone. God is saying, I'm bringing something into your life, but you have to be standing on the platform when it comes. You can't be wandering somewhere else, distracted and unprepared. And here's the beautiful thing. When you're ready, you won't have to chase the blessing. The blessing will find you. When you're in the right place spiritually, the right place emotionally, the right place in obedience, heaven's timing will intersect with your readiness. That's when you step into the flow of what God has already prepared for you. So the urgency today is not to scare you, but to wake you. Not to pressure you, but to position you. Not to rob your peace, but to secure your promise. You have a window, you have a warning, and you have a choice. The question is, will you move while there's still time? Because when the appointed moment comes, it will be too late to start. Family, before August 4 arrives, God is not just calling you to be aware. He's calling you to be aligned. There's a separation happening in the spirit that you can't see with your natural eyes. But if you listen closely, you can feel it in your soul. God is drawing a line. Not to push people away, but to pull his people closer. He's distinguishing between those who are walking with him and those who are merely walking near him. Between those who are surrendered and those who are still holding back. And hear me, alignment is not about looking holy on the outside. No. It's not about church attendance, religious words, or posting scriptures online. Alignment is about the position of your heart, the posture of your obedience, and the direction of your walk. You can't claim to be aligned with God if you're still entertaining the same patterns, the same compromises, and the same influences that pull you in the opposite direction. God's love will meet you anywhere, but his blessing requires that you be in position. And that means there are some things, and yes, some people that cannot go with you into this next season. It's not because you hate them. It's not because you're better than them. It's because your assignment requires focus, and you cannot stay focused if you keep being pulled into places God told you to leave. Think about Abraham. When God called him to step into a new land, he couldn't take everything and everyone from the old season. There was a separation. Not because the others were bad people, but because the calling was specific. And when Abraham obeyed, the promise began to unfold. Sometimes it will require sacrifice, but obedience is the bridge between God's promise and your reality. Think about Peter in the boat. He'd been fishing all night and caught nothing. Jesus told him, cast your net on the other side. That instruction didn't make sense. Peter was the fisherman, Jesus was the teacher. But Peter said, because you say so, I will. And the moment he obeyed, the nets were so full they began to break. The miracle didn't happen because Peter heard the instruction. It happened because Peter acted on it. That's where many of us miss it. We're waiting for God to do his part while ignoring the part he already told us to do. We're asking for open doors but refusing to walk down the hallway he pointed to. We're praying for harvest but not planting the seed he put in our hand. God will not bless what you refuse to obey. And here's the truth. The closer we get to August 4, the less time there will be for delay. Every day you wait is a day you push the blessing further away. Some of you know exactly what God has been telling you. He's been nudging you to forgive someone, to step out in faith, to give up a habit, to start a work, to sow into a cause, to repair a relationship, to leave a toxic situation. You've heard him, but you've been telling yourself, I'll do it later. God is saying a later will be too late. Partial obedience is still disobedience. Doing part of what God said is not the same as doing all of what God said. If he told you to go to Nineveh, going to Tarshish first is still rebellion, even if you plan on circling back eventually. Delayed obedience can cost you opportunities, protection, and blessings that were already assigned to your name. And I know obedience is not always easy. It can cost you comfort, relationships, and even your own plans. But what you gain in return will always outweigh what you lose. When you obey God fully, you place yourself under his covering in a way that the enemy cannot penetrate. You position yourself to receive provision, favor, and supernatural alignment that no human could orchestrate. Let me make it plain. Obedience is a shield. When you're walking in God's instructions, you're walking in His protection. The enemy may still attack, but his attacks won't succeed. You may still face storms, but you'll stand when others fall because you're standing where God told you to stand. Some of you are one act of obedience away from the breakthrough you've been crying out for. One yes away from the answer you've been waiting on. One step away from the door God has been trying to open. But the door won't open until your feet start moving. God is not waiting to decide whether to bless you. He's waiting for you to move in the direction He already told you to go. And I promise you this, when you look back after you've obeyed, you'll never regret it. You'll see how every step was connected. You'll see why He told you to move when He did. You'll see that what didn't make sense before became the very thing that saved you, blessed you, or positioned you for more. So don't just hear this word, live it. Don't just feel it in your spirit, follow it in your steps. Because the difference between those who are prepared when August 4 comes and those who are not won't be who heard God's voice. It will be who obeyed it. And when God gives you an instruction, the safest place you can ever be is in the center of your obedience. Family, I need you to understand something. When God gives a warning, it is never just to leave you trembling in fear. It is always coupled with a promise. This word about August 4 is not only about urgency, not only about separation, not only about obedience, it is also about the blessing that is on the other side for those who prepare. God is not just trying to keep you from danger, He's trying to position you for favor. He's not only guarding you from loss, He's getting ready to set you up for gain. What's coming after this appointed time is not random. It is something heaven has been holding for those who are ready. For those who take Him seriously now, there is going to be a release of protection, provision, and breakthrough that you could not make happen on your own. The kind of blessing that can't be explained by luck or hard work. It will only be explained by the hand of God on your life. But hear me, that blessing is not for the careless. It's not for those who treated His voice like background noise. It's for those who heard, believed, and moved. When God is a father, and like any loving father, He delights in rewarding His children. But a wise father doesn't hand priceless treasure to a child who's not ready to carry it. He waits until the child has proven responsibility, trustworthiness, and maturity. And that's what this season before August 4 is your proving ground. Some of you have been through storms, losses, and battles in the last season that you didn't understand. You wondered why God didn't remove the struggle right away. But now you'll see, those trials were training. Those difficulties were shaping you into someone who can handle what's coming. If He gave it to you too early, you might have squandered it, mishandled it, or let the enemy snatch it away. But now you're not just ready to receive the blessing, you're ready to keep it. And let's talk about that protection. God's blessing is not just about giving you something, it's also about shielding you from what the enemy planned. There are traps that were already set for your downfall, but because you aligned yourself with Him, those traps will be exposed and dismantled. There are attacks that were scheduled for your destruction, but your obedience will cause heaven's armies to stand guard around you. There are schemes people whispered in darkness, but they will crumble before they can even reach you. That's the covering of God. You see, obedience doesn't just position you to receive blessings. It places you under divine insurance. And this is why the enemy fights your alignment so hard. Because once you're standing under God's covering, the enemy can't touch you without going through Him. And no one can go through God. Some of you right now feel like you've been in a long waiting room. You've been holding on to promises for years. You've been faithful in the small things. You've stayed the course when it would have been easier to walk away. God wants you to know, this is not the time to get weary. This is the time to lock in even more, because what's coming is going to make the waiting worth it. What's ahead will cause you to say, if I had known this was what God was planning, I would have trusted Him even sooner. And I need you to catch this. When the blessing comes, it won't just bless you. It will overflow to those connected to you. God never blesses you just to make your life comfortable. He blesses you to make you a blessing. The people around you will see the evidence of His hand on your life, and they will know it was because you listened, you obeyed, and you aligned. Your testimony will draw others closer to Him. So yes, this is a warning, but it's also an invitation. An invitation to be part of the group that steps into August 4 with peace instead of panic, with readiness instead of regret, with expectation instead of fear. And when that day passes, you won't be scrambling to catch up. You'll already be walking in the flow of what God released. And when the blessing rests on your life, you won't have to chase it, fight for it, or manipulate your way into it. It will meet you where you are because you'll be exactly where God told you to be. Because when God prepares something for the aligned and the obedient, no devil in hell and no force on earth can keep it from finding you.